how to design trails so you get the maximum value from your land, you get quick access to all parts of your land, and ultimately gain greater value. I'm Justin Hitt from Prosperity Homestead. So first off, I'm walking down what would be a hiking trail, and it is about 8 feet wide. It's suitable for a four-wheeler or a mountain bike. And just like we've outlined in a previous video, this type of trail is where you start. A brush mower is gonna mow about this wide. Forestry equipment is gonna produce about this wide. Now, when you have multiple miles of trails on a property, you're gonna have two types of trails. You're gonna have the trails that you access on foot and the trails you access by vehicle. So I got a forest mulcher out today, and that's a trail marker for them to cut across the middle here. Essentially, what I'm walking on now intersects with our vehicle access trail. So the majority of your trails, whether it's for horses, four-wheelers, mountain bikes, whatever, the majority of your trails are going to be on contour. But from time to time, you're going to have a trail that has to cut through. So this is a boundary trail. So at first you're going to get your boundary trails in, which are going to be walkable trails. This is a boundary trail. It's only 8 feet wide. But what we're coming up on is a vehicle access trail that's actually 13 feet wide. Now, a vehicle access trail for one-way traffic, 13 feet wide. A vehicle access trail for multiple vehicles, 21 feet wide. Now, these are minimums. Now, you'll notice on this particular trail that there's actually a bunch of trees in the middle. So you see these trees here? These trees will come out by hand because they're a resource. I have a rule of thumb here. We'll brush mow or forest mulch small trees, anything under 4 inches in diameter. And then anything above 4 inches diameter, I want to keep it, especially if it's straight, so that we can use it for firewood. We can use it for, actually, I don't like to even burn firewood that's 4 inches diameter. We're going to use it for poles to make a pole building. So it gives us a little bit of shade in the trail. And then if I decide to bring a vehicle through here, which I certainly can, and by the way, this trail goes right out this way, I certainly can. So now this one's going uphill. You're not always going to be able to get out trails on contour, but there is a contour right here. See this? And it goes back across that way, out to a road. Now I don't need to access that one, but I'm going to survey it and have it on my map so that if I need a road that cross sections here, I know where to put the road. But I have another contour down on the bottom here that I need to access. So what we're doing is across the land here, going downhill, using the forest mulcher to access between trails. Now this is an infrequent trail, and this is a trail that will not be used during rain or wet seasons. Okay, it's just like a back access trail. If we're camping back there and somebody gets hurt, I want to be able to take a vehicle out to them. If I don't have four-wheelers, but if I had a four-wheeler, you know, sometimes you can get a four-wheeler out at a minimum. Now we're going to come up here to a little storage area where I've got materials. We're going to make an Adirondack shelter and some little storage buildings that we can lock up. They're going to be on skids. So you see this trail, see how wide this is? That's beautiful. Now I put things in front of it on purpose because I don't want anybody coming back here, because what you're going to find up here is a hardscape, a previous hardscape or road, and this hardscape is 21 feet wide. So think about it as veins. You're going to have initially 8 foot wide trails. Oh, lizards! Lizards everywhere. And then they're going to connect to like a river. 8 foot wide trail connects to a 13 foot wide trail, connects to a 21 foot wide trail. So now here's a hardscape. This road can be used in the wet season. It's got some gravel under here, but it goes from 21 foot wide, 13 feet wide, to 8 feet wide. So these are like veins. Now a road like this is not only hard, but it's level. And later, if we get a box grader out here, we can clean it up so it has a slight dome in the middle. But this road here, you're going to keep it like a forest road. So we're just simply going to mow it, and we're not going to drag gravel back here. This road that I'm on right now is at least a mile long, so it doesn't make any sense to drop gravel on it or riprap or anything like that, because it's just such a long road. So this is going to be like a farm road. so that we can bring heavy equipment in here. Now this road, if we're going to bring in a dump truck or heavy equipment, we need to have aerial clearance. So some of these big trees along the edges, they'll come down over time. But again, we can get a pickup truck in here, we can get a small dump truck in here, we can get, actually they brought a shed down through here with minimal challenges. I can get a trailer through here. If I was persistent or consistent on being able to back up a camper, I'd be able to get a camper down here. So you can see the different set of trails. Now how do you design these? First off, you want to find on a satellite map all of your historical roads. You want to find those historical roads, and you want to find the contours. So this is a historical road. It's been here for 50 years or more. It was first to get cleared out because we can just drive a truck down here. See? Then we have our secondary roads that are going to be put on contour that are going to get us to key parts of the property. And we're going to have the perimeter cleared, which is our 8-foot wide sections that are just basically the perimeter of the property. It's very low impact. We're clearing a fence line. Now, if you're going to clear a fence line that you're going to put in by hand, 8 foot is fine. But if you're going to clear a fence line that you're putting in by equipment, it needs to be 18 feet wide. So I'd go ahead and go 21. And that way you've got plenty of space for your equipment to get in. And most people can 3-point turn in a 21-foot wide road. Some of these roads have little kickoffs. And actually up here, this one has a turn and then about an 8-foot wide road that goes through the woods. It's 13 in some places, but I got to cut some more trees down. So you see these little turnarounds? You want some of these little turnarounds in so that you can get the vehicles turned around. And so here's another road that connects. Now we're just not willy-nilly making these roads everywhere, because as you drive a truck over a road, you're going to start getting track marks. And in this particular path, the road has a dip in it that goes to a gully. And I don't want to be funneling water as the ground compacts, funneling it down a gully. So we make adjustments like that. So again, if you've got a nice hardscape road, there's a historical road, focus your energy on clearing that out. Next, you want to focus your energy on clearing the perimeter of the property with an 8-foot wide trail, at least a walking trail, and then cross trails built with our, on contour. And then you can add to that walking paths. So I'm not going to go further up the road, but there's a number of walking paths that are only about 4 foot wide that you can walk between key areas that I don't want a vehicle to go through. I want the vehicles to stay on contour, on level ground, on hard ground. I want to get to, if I'm going up and down a hill or across the hill or something, that's going to be a footpath. We don't want to be riding four-wheelers up and down across hills and stuff and causing erosion. The key reason we design this way is because we want to reduce erosion, we want to increase accessibility, and we want roads with the minimal amount of maintenance. Now there's more information we can go over in a course about making trails on ridgeways and why you want to make a road down a ridge, ways of crossing very steep land using footpaths, and some more information about how to do dirt bike trails, horse trails, or four-wheeling trails. And by the way, a horse and a four-wheeler have the same impact on the land, except the four-wheeler is producing an exhaust. Now some would argue the horse is also producing an exhaust, but the manures from the horse is fertilizer. So the little apples these horses drop in the woods are certainly going to help the land more than a four-wheeler spilling fuel or the exhaust. But again, the impact, trail design is the same. Now when you're trail designing for mountain bikes, you will go down certain areas. You might crest around level ground. You might have certain slopes. That's a little bit different. And my preference is hunting trails, access to homesteads, and ultimately opening up a piece of land so that you can get better utility value out of it. I'm Justin Hitt with Prosperity Homestead. Visit me at www.prosperityhomestead.org if you have questions or want to go into more depth about road design and how to produce access. Now we can go more in depth and talk about how to, if you're going to run regular traffic over this road, you have to dig it out. I'm primarily focusing in this video on farm roads and farm access, but it's not just drive through the clearing. If you just drive through the clearing, you're going to end up with ruts, you're going to end up with runoff, you're going to end up with more problems than it's worth. I want you to be able to put a road in to get access to your property, to start camping and hunting on your property, to start getting a better idea of the lay of the land so you can start designing your paddocks. And by the way, all of my 8-foot wide paths, I can put up temporary electric fence to run animals through. 21-foot wide paths are wide enough to get sun on the ground to start growing some grass, so that helps opening up some pasture. And ultimately it all works together. So when you visit the website, go to the contact page and ask your questions, or ask questions in the comments. See you in the next video.